this video, we're going to talk about a schema that's often responsible for the most polarized behavioral responses that many people demonstrate. On the one hand, we do absolutely everything we can to be absolutely perfect in everything we do. And on the other, we back off from all engagement and do absolutely nothing. So today, let's talk about the schema of unrelenting standards. When the schema of unrelenting standards is activated within our personality system, we have the underlying belief that we must strive to meet an extremely high standard of behavior and performance that we've usually set for ourselves to avoid some kind of internal or external criticism. This typically results in feelings of high pressure to achieve, or a difficulty with slowing down life, and a hypercriticalness towards ourselves, others, and how life itself is supposed to be. This can also involve significant impairment in our experience of things like pleasure and relaxation. Our physical and mental health can take a dip. Our self-esteem and our sense of accomplishment is constantly difficult for us to deal with. And we often find it really difficult to be comfortable in what most people would see as satisfying relationships. Unrelenting standards typically presents in our behaviors in a couple of different ways. First, as perfectionism, with an excessive amount of attention to detail or an underestimation of how good our own performance is relative to the norm. Second, with extreme procrastination, and this is mainly because there's a fear in our system that we've got no chance at all of reaching the standards that we've set for ourselves. So screw it, I just won't do anything. This way, there's absolutely no chance that we're going to get criticized for not reaching the standard that, as I said before, we set for ourselves, and we avoid the emotional experience that we tend to fear the most. In general, when this schema is activated in our system, we are dominated by our own internal demanding critic. Our thoughts are filled with rigid rules and shoulds as a constant presence in many different areas of life. In some cases, this can include unrealistically high moral, ethical, cultural, or religious principles, along with a preoccupation with time and efficiency and the driving need to accomplish and do more and more stuff all the time. When it's in full swing, it's extremely rare that we can recognize the things we accomplish, and even if we do manage to see our success from time to time, our critics will judge it as not being enough. It's often the case that people who procrastinate are actually labeled as lazy, or there's a judgment that they don't really want to make the changes that they say they do. For me, this is definitely not the truth all the time, as most people who fall into this category are usually sitting in some kind of fear-based personality system that's activated by the fear of facing the things that they want to do because of their own schema of unrelenting standards. While unrelenting standards was definitely not a primary schema for me, at the same time, I still had a lot of different stories around what I was supposed to achieve and how I was supposed to achieve it that had me constantly questioning my ability to make things happen. The fear of failing to reach the high standard that I would set for myself and what it meant about me as a person when I didn't reach it was the main reason I usually chose not to do anything at all. This was true for me in many different situations in my life. When I started any new project, I'd begin with all the drive and vigor of a man possessed with the desire to succeed no matter what the cost. However, as soon as things became a little bit difficult to get done, I'd generally go inside my mind, questioning my ability to do everything that I was expected to do, and procrastination would begin to set in. If you're someone who struggles with the schema of unrelenting standards, it can manifest in a number of different coping mechanisms. If you're anything like me, the fear of not reaching the standard that you've set results in an avoidant behavior intended to keep you safe from the guilt and shame associated with failure. For other people, it manifests in a drive to reach the unrelenting standard that you've set for yourself, never stopping to take a breath, constantly on the go, trying to cross every single T and dot every single I. This perfectionistic overcompensator usually leads to burnout of some kind. We can also experience a whole range of angry outbursts or even a complete withdrawal from social activities that can present as the common behavioral responses when this schema is active in our system. The schema of unrelenting standards is at the core of many of our problematic behaviors. However, this particular schema can be hidden hidden deep beneath the surface. Learning how to spot the stories associated with this schema gives us the insight we need for the actions that can help derail the status quo. This requires a solid understanding of the DBT stop skill to slow things down, and an ability to check the facts so we can take an opposite action to help manage the modes of behaviour that have been activated in response. The unrelenting standard schema is driven by our own internal critics, in particular the demanding critic. So planning ahead to build mastery is essential for us to turn this internal critic into an effective internal coach. At the bottom of the website page that's connected to this particular video, you'll find a PDF that contains a worksheet that's designed to help you figure out if the schema of unrelenting standards is one that plays a significant role in your own personality system. If you can, download it and take some time to work through each question. If you've got an opinion on this, or actually anything else to do with the integration of DBT and schema therapy, leave a comment in the chat. I'd really like to hear your point of view. And if you want to know more, come join the live online meetings that I personally facilitate each week on Zoom. I'll leave some links to those groups in the description below. And as always, if you like the content of this video, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and turn on those notifications to get all the latest from me and the Liberation Place. I really hope this video gave you some ideas on how the schema of unrelenting standards might be relevant for you in your personality system. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Take care, be safe, and be well.